Radio Free Tatooine presents Galactic War Report, a Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes podcast.
Oshuda, fellow Holotable hustlers, you're tuned into Galactic War Report, a Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes podcast that's better than some and worse than others. I'm Sean, a.k.a. the other Sean, and sitting across the Holotable from me once again is Josh, a.k.a. the Golden Pop-Tart.
Man, it feels like it's been like a month since we've been on the show at the same time.
I know. I was gone, then you were gone. We took 2 weeks off. Then we came back like, hey, we're back. And then you were gone again. And then it's just, we're here now, though. That's what matters.
Agreed. It's just one of those things where, I mean, had to overcome some fun Rona, and that's nice and gone. So I'm ready to be back. And I'll tell you what, though, tonight I was like, can't wait to do this. Because first off, I'm a big boy now. I'm a 10 million GP, right? Like, oof. I feel like I'm finally able to pass on some wisdom.
It's all grown up.
I don't know about that, but you know.
Yeah, it's a good week to be here too, because let me tell you, we got some things to talk about. We have so much. Okay, so Ezra Bridger, we knew, yes, right? We all participated in this big event that meant that they could reveal to us that Ezra Bridger was coming to the game. Oh boy. Yeah. But now we actually have his kit, not just the names of his abilities, his kit, because Conquest starts Monday. So they had to release it. We didn't earn anything. But we will be getting 100 bonus Conquest energy at the start.
Very nice.
I forgot about that. We did earn that, I suppose.
Yes.
Or someone did. I didn't participate, but thank you to everyone who did. So we're going to talk about Ezra tonight. We're also going to talk about this new Datacron set. Oh my goodness. There's a lot there. And we also have those Conquest feats in the data mine. So we will discuss those, as well as a new Lightspeed Bundle that, is it worth it?
Yeah.
Boy, does it depend. Boy, does it depend. But first, let's celebrate some Blurf days. All right, this week we've got a couple, and they're big characters. And then there's also one real minor character in there, too. On the 31st, we've got Captain Drogon turning 1 year old. I have to assume he's accelerating. I don't even know. Like, that's a year ago. I don't know if he's accelerated yet or not. I haven't seen anything in game that he is. So
I'm actually just sitting here thinking, man, a year for Drogon already.
Yeah.
I mean, Leia is a year ago.
A year of Leia.
Wow.
Yeah. Let's see, that's 1 year on the 31st. On the 1st of September, we've got Maul, another lifter, turning 3 years old. Like 3 years of Conquest grinding.
Wow.
That sounds awful, doesn't it?
Wow, though. I mean, it's been 3 years already. I mean, but when you look at Proving Grounds, I mean, it's a full.
Yeah,
wow.
There's a lot of scrolling on that screen for sure. And then, so Maul shares a Blurf Day with Scarif Rebel Pathfinder. Remember that guy?
Yeah, a little
now
bit.
He's just an enemy in the best Conquest nodes because you can get multiple kills maybe if he's around. He is turning 8 years old. He's as old as my daughter. What? What? Oh, my goodness.
So they've been in your life for about the same amount of time. So which one do you prefer? Which one's your favorite?
Well, it totally tracks because both of them, they won't leave you alone. They just won't. You can shoo him away and he comes back. And shoo him away and he comes back, you know. Man, Scarif Rebel Pathfinder. There was a time there when I used him for a little while. He still kind of fits a little bit on like an Admiral Raddus team. And since Admiral Raddus has lost Cassian for the time being, to Rolo, which no one could have predicted.
No way.
Maybe he's worth it. I don't know. Poor guy. Poor little Pathfinder. All right, let's take a look at this week's upcoming in-game events brought to you by swgohevents.com for a complete list of past, present, and future events. swgohevents.com is a universe of info in a galaxy of heroes. This week, there isn't a lot because there's Conquest. And that's good. This is the good Conquest where there's no GAC happening at the same time.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
I mean, it's soon, though, isn't it, right?
Conquest. Well, halfway through. It's a 2-week Conquest, so we get 1 week off where I get to play Star Wars Hunters again. And then, I mean, seriously, that is the only time I'm playing
ready.
the game. Which I got to work on, man. It's a fun game. I like it. I want to support it, but time, dude. All right, so this week, on the 30th, we have Defense of Dathomir, where you get your Mother Tails and Shards. And we have a Galactic Challenge. This will be on Endor. Bonuses for Jedi, which is nice, because there's a million different Jedi. Like, we'll figure this one out, right? Versus Mandalorians, which is not nice, because the buff they always give them is the stupidest thing I've ever seen. So... really good team versus the stupidest thing you've ever seen. It's going to be a slobber knocker. What can I say? On the 31st, we have an Assault Battle, Fanatical Devotion.
Which has been a long time since we've had that.
It feels like it, right?
Yeah. I mean, I was just thinking about that. I mean...
Yeah.
I mean, it's still just a sim, but still, I mean, it's been a couple days.
It's the newest sim. Well, no, it's not. It's not the newest Assault Battle, because we've got Duel of the Fates now.
And I was able to get through the whole thing, all the way through.
So good. Top tier is Relic 9 on that, right?
It is, yeah.
I got a ways to go. But, yeah, man, I love me some Duel of the Fates. That's the good stuff. But this is not that. This is not the good stuff. This is just a Fanatical Devotion, which is the pretty good stuff, I guess. On the 31st, we also have a Stardust Transmission. That's where you get your Profundity blueprints. On the 1st, we are looking at Contraband Cargo. And that's it. Nice, easy weekend, right? Finishing up GAC. On the 2nd, we have an Omega Battle on Bespin, as well as another Galactic Challenge. This will be on a different planet. I don't have that info yet. We also have Conquest starting. That's Monday, so hot diggity. And then on the 3rd, we have Fleet Mastery for Home 1. And that's all we got on the books. It's not a lot, right? There's probably going to be some other stuff that pops up that they've not told us about yet. That's usually the case when it's a light week like this. One note also, because this is the last week of Grand Arena, like, pay attention to that last round. You really want to push, because you're going into the off time where you can't increase your rate. If you want to try and get a promotion, do it now. Do good on the last round so that you can reap the rewards for an extra week, and then tank at the start of the week after, if you're going to tank. All right. Before we dive into this week's top stories, a quick shout out to our Patreon supporters. If you enjoy what we do and want to be part of our exclusive community, head over to patreon.com/Galactic War Report. Your support makes this podcast possible, and you even get access to the VIP section of our Discord server for some behind-the-scenes banter, which is soon to include SWGOH trivia. I'm so jazzed about that. We'll do an official announcement next week about it, but we're going to start doing trivia on Discord, and it's going to be the stupidest thing. Like, the stupidest way to spend a Monday night, or whatever night we end up doing it. Okay, so that's it. No more bragging about us. Punch it, Pop-Tart.
Well, we actually got a little bit to talk about tonight, and there's a little bit from the data mines. But why don't we start first with the Lightspeed Bundle? Because I think that is something, when we say Lightspeed, you say
bundle,
and
Lightspeed.
And so, typically it's been kind of nice to be able to have some catch up, right? For me, Ray ending up make this the only way that I'd ever get her. And
yeah,
wow, that kind of sounds sad too, right? Like I was really like crushing on her, right? And that's the only way I was going to get her. It's a Lightspeed bundle. I know, right? If I pay, there you go. Yes. But this time around, it looks like it's really going to be helpful for, people that aren't able to do the old Hoth. And, with all of obviously the creep, the new things that are coming through, it looks like they're going to have all of those Lightspeed bundle. The Rolo, right? All of a sudden, Rolo is like important right now.
Right. I mean, that's the weird timing there. I don't think they anticipated that. I think that kind of snuck up.
And so then, when you look at it, and you can get Wampa. I mean, it's not too bad if you're going in there in the guild currency and that. Like, you can actually get a few more of those. And then we got Han. We got Hoth Han as well. So, I mean, it's just... And then, of course, you have your probe droid. I mean, it's kind of a tough one because, I mean, yes, you need some of these characters for, main things. But on the other side of it, how many months would have taken, to really get these? Or is it that, do you really want to spend that currency on them? So how do you feel about the overall cost compared to what you get?
I mean, you look at, what is it, $24, $23.74, something like that.
Yeah, right.
Oh, that's probably
that's the PC version.
The online. Yeah, so it's like $25. All right, cool. For a newer player, it depends on your spelling.
Yes.
Depends
spelling
on your
helps
spending tolerance, right? If you've got money to spend and you're a newer player, this is worth it for sure. The kind of highlight of this is clearly Wampa. Wampa is the most usable here. Rolo, as I mentioned, like she's hot stuff right now, but for the type of player who's going to be buying this, the odds of them having Staros ready to go, not great. That team does require...
I've tried without her.
Good stuff.
So.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I've tried without her, and it is not the same. No.
Without her.
Yeah.
So there's that. Captain Han, there's no need for him right now. And Probe Droid. Probe Droid, I actually saw something online. I think it was in the discussion about this Lightspeed bundle on Reddit that people were talking about how bad Probe Droid is because he deals massive damage, right? Which means 99,999 damage. Mm-hmm. That doesn't exactly kill a character these days. They're much, 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 much thicker than they used to be because relics exist now. Mastery exists now. And power creep is real, right? So massive damage isn't like an insta-kill anymore. So he just floats over, kills himself and can't be revived, and does pretty good damage on one attack. Like, he's a joke. You really, really, really don't need Probe Droid. So it's characters that would otherwise be very difficult for you to get. But outside of Wampa, not really characters you're going to use much. I mean, some of them are requirements for, was it for Luke? I think Jedi Master Luke.
Yeah, so for Luke. Yep.
So I guess there's that. There's that too. But I just, I saw people talking about, like, could you put the Hoth Rebel Bros in or something else to kind of sweeten the deal? I think that'd be kind of nice. For anyone who has the characters at 7 stars and you're looking at the benefit of taking them to Relic 5, Wampa's the only one that I think has a big impact. The rest of them, I've got Han at Relic 3, and I guess Rolo needs to be at Relic 5 also. I don't know. I don't love it. I think if it's to boost you acquiring Luke, then it's fine. But even Wampa is not like mandatory anymore. The Kron's fun, but like she's not exactly killing it like she used to, you know. What about you?
So
what's your take?
Well, first off, the way that you describe Probe Droid is like basically like Geodude in Pokemon, you know, because it's about worthless and it has no attack. I mean, it's going to explode at some point if it's a high enough level. It's really not going to hurt anything. So I guess that's basically how I'm going to see it. Some of these Lightspeed has been like, wow, like this is great. Like this is outstanding. Yeah. I mean, from Ray, the first bundles of it was just great.
Ray and Slicker were out of this world.
Man.
Yeah.
Just awesome. I mean, but why there's a decent amount of characters that new people just aren't going to be able to really get without really having a Lightspeed bundle. And so it seems like, you know, the Lord Vader stuff, or, you know, I think about even Santa Staros. I mean, those type of things, like there's no real huge need for, you know, some of the newer people to be able to get these characters. And so, like, I think Bad Batch, I mean, why not have, you know, so in this, I get it. It's because they want to have that accessibility. It just doesn't really line up to what we've seen. So it's kind of a want in my mind. But, but I mean, I guarantee there's probably someone who's buying it or will be buying it and be like, well, this is great. But again, for $24, $25, I mean, there's a bundle in there right now.
The big thing that I'll say for it is, like you kind of said early on, is that not a lot of people are doing the Hoth territory battle. Mm-hmm. And that is because when it came out, it was challenging content. It doesn't evolve, but characters do. So we get higher, like now we've got relics, right? So then we move on to Geonosis. And then we've got light side and dark side Geonosis, right? I think it was dark side first and light side Geo. And it's getting harder and harder and harder. And then we have Rise of the Empire. So like end game guilds are under no circumstances doing anything but Rise of the Empire.
Mm-hmm.
You take it back to smaller guilds that are doing Geonosis. And they're doing that for a little while, but the goal is to get to Rise of the Empire. Guilds that are doing Hoth, I have to imagine, are not doing it long enough. Even a brand new guild, by the time you can launch Hoth, okay, cool, we're doing territory battles. You'll do it for a couple months, and then you're hitting Geonosis. Or a few months, maybe. But not long enough to get your Wampa, to get your Han, and, you know, like, that stuff, I get that. Make it more accessible, that's solid. But for anyone that's not getting a huge boost, like we're talking stars, it's a tough sell.
Actually, I thought originally that they were in the guild activity, and they're not, are they?
No, they're in a store now.
Yeah, so they're in the guild events. Like,
you don't want to have to spend all your get on those guys. You know, that's going to take you a long time. You still have to do that with Hermit Yoda. He's not included in this. So
that is kind of interesting why they did that too. I mean,
yeah, I agree. I feel like throw him in, and he wasn't on Hoth.
But I mean, you know, again, I think at some point there's going to be another one that's out there. You know, I think about the Night Sisters one for me was huge. I mean, weirdly enough, even, you know, the one for the raid for the Jedi, that was great. I mean, because we're not going to invest in that if it doesn't make sense. And so yeah, I mean, again, somebody out there is going to have to use this and it's going to work for them. But in general, you know, well, why don't we move on to, you want to do Datacrons first, or we want to get into Mr. Ezra?
Yeah. Let's hit up the Datacrons. That's interesting. I like the Datacrons. This is set 17. I like that they're going back to factions instead of roles.
Yes, me too.
That makes me happy. It still has multiple options for some of the characters, which I don't think or I thought I saw that. Let me see. Most of these are single. No,
there's not. Yeah, I think we went back to normal. I mean, I thought maybe that last one's just going to be a test, but I mean, it just I don't know. This last one didn't love it. Nope.
Oh yeah, huh? It listed Death Trooper Peridia twice, so I don't know why, but okay, that's all. Okay, good. It didn't. Never mind. Take that back.
There you go. Right.
I like this format better. The factions, I'm fine with. I saw people saying they wanted other things. Sure.
I'm happy with Jedi, and I'm okay with it. Basically being because what is the dark side faction?
Night
Sisters, and Emperor. I mean that's completely fine. And Rogue One. I mean, the hard part is I don't have all of them into relics, but it doesn't matter. They're still going to get some benefit from this. And I mean, Jedi, we can always use it. And the only
Jedi has wide appeal. You can use that on multiple. That's the only one that really, I think many people are going to get more than one team that it affects. I mean, you can do multiple Remnant. You can do multiple Night Sisters now, but I don't think a lot of people are going to have enough Night Sisters to put two meaningful teams together. So, and same with Rogue One. There's not like two great teams you can build.
I feel like with the stats wise, I mean, they're not bad by any means. I don't think it's going to be, too crazy. I mean, the defense, obviously from 4 to 5 to 7 and an 8 looks like that. You can definitely get those huge Datacron defense sets, which we just don't want. But in general, it looks like you can have armor penetration again, more, crit damage, some tenacity. So, I mean, it doesn't feel too bad. I just hope that, I think in one of the Grand Arenas that I had, it was every single thing was defense. And I'm like, geez, oh, Pete's. And of course it has to be on Rey.
Stinks.
That's rough.
Yeah. That always stinks. But, here's the good news is the Padmecron is going away.
I know.
And I mean, that's not the end of the world. Like I can see a Padmecron and be like, okay, I know how to beat it. Fine. But I still want it to go away. I don't enjoy it.
No. So, I just prefer offensive. I think that's where I'm at. Just I like the offensive one. Make my team better.
Offense.
But
please,
so
offense.
Let's chat a little bit about some characters. I have a couple, and I hope that you have a couple too that you like off the bat. One I think is going to be kind of fun is starting off with Night Sister Zombie. And so every time she taunts, she gains defense stacking, which she's always basically feels like she's taunting. And then everybody else gets offense up and tenacity. And then when she's defeated, she inflicts healing immunity and buff immunity. Like, I mean, it's not game changing, but it's kind of annoying. I mean, it really makes kind of
that heal immunity means it's hard to get rid of plague too. Like you're stuck with it. I mean, this is a very resistant strain of plague.
So it's gonna be interesting, to kind of see kind of that piece. And then the other one I really like too. And again, there's a few different ones in here, but I also too looking at Qui-Gon. I mean, it's nothing crazy, but every time they attack out of turn, they gain stacks of heal over time, which they're already getting a bunch of heal over time with protection over time, and then protection disruption. I mean, it kind of feels like a little bit like what we've seen in these different battles, but
that disruption is nasty.
Yeah,
that's pretty nice, and it's not hard to get him attacking out of turn.
Oh,
like slap him on a Jedi Master Luke team. Suddenly, the other team will never have protection.
I mean, for me, when it comes to, usually with Padme, it's constant. I mean, this one again is another one I think that's going to be good on defense. But it seems like he's basically attacking every single time that Obi-Wan does, and then he's also attacking every single time that Padme does. So it seems like he's just going all the time for me.
Yeah, I like.
I
like his a lot.
What are you thinking for yours? Which one's your?
My number one. is POW. Yeah. I know I was just trash talking massive damage earlier, but POW constantly assisting with massive damage is something I need. Yeah. I need to see it. So it's a drama in 4 parts. So at the start of the battle, everyone gets 100% max health and protection and are immune to healing immunity. Take that, Night Sister Zombie.
There you go.
Whenever he assists, which is all the time on a Mon Mothma team, he deals bonus massive damage, which can't be evaded, and all allies recover 10% health. I don't care about the health. It's just massive damage on an assist. Whenever POW uses a special, he shocks all enemies for 2 turns. Can't be evaded. And whenever he uses a basic, he stealths and gains defense penetration up for 1 turn and inflicts target enemy with offense down for 1 turn. Can't be evaded. Hot dog! Yeah. I like it. I like that so much.
I mean, it is the definition of it, like, spicy right there. I mean, from basically
now, also,
making
there's a Rogue One better. That makes it so that whenever a Rogue One ally defeats an enemy, they take a bonus turn. So, like, that's kind of spicy too. I love it. Yep. There's some good Rogue Ones that can blind.
Yeah, that first one.
They have the 75% damage immunity if they have 50% turn meter or more. And whenever they're revived, they recover extra stuff. That's not bad.
But I mean, what about that first one? 100% max health and protection. And then if you have pose, so then they're starting with another 100%. So 200% max health and protection. Ooh.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
that's going to be interesting. That at all.
Most of the other Rogue One characters didn't really do much for me. Like Cassian's, K2SO, I guess that's it. And then Luthen's isn't bad. He's not technically Rogue One, but he's kind of like, I assume, you know how like you have to get Rogue One, and if you get Rogue One, it's going to be one of these 4 characters. Probably because he fits very well onto a Rogue One team. But yeah, I think it looks good. Plows looks good as well. I like that. Eth Koth, are you kidding me?
Yeah, I know, right?
Eth Koth has a Datacron. I've got him at Relic 5. Let's do this. I bought the stupid bundle. Let's go.
I mean, it's not horrible by any means. I mean, it has a lot of text so that that's going to be great, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they gain 100%.
If they have a lot of text, it's doing enough things that I like it. So yeah, looks like a good set. I'm going to be just not sad at all to see some of these go. The Padme, get out of here. Slicker, I'll be sad to see go.
I'm sad for that one. That one has been so
Reva,
much fun.
Yeah, that can go kick rocks.
Yeah, agreed.
And the Gungan
will
one,
start
get out of here with that. I don't want Boss Nass. I'm so sick of that team. So sick of it. So yeah, that's cool. I saw a little talk on Reddit also saying, like, I'm so glad they went back to this. Like, they learned their lesson. They're going to do this. And I was like, we don't know that they're not going to do every other.
Agreed. Yeah.
I could see it.
I mean, it was a test. It was so a test to see, like, will people spend more? I mean, I think for me, it made it to where I didn't really try as hard for him, because I don't know if there was one that was like a Slicker or a Padme. I mean, I probably would have went all out, and I end up Wampa is really the only one that I really truly wanted in, but this one, I don't know. I got a few that I'm ready.
I'll say I did fairly well. I got the ones I wanted. So I got the Wampa, right? But I like Barriss. I like Sabine. I I'm not going to use Sabine that much because like the stuff that Phoenix can counter, they can already counter. It's just like it is kind of fun with her being a monster. But Barris is solid on a Queen Amidala team with that Datacron. Yeah. That's quite nice. And then I got the Stormtrooper Han one, but I feel like, am I going to use that?
I have that too.
I don't know. The one that I do wish I got is, and the Visa Smar one's nice as well. But the one that I do wish I got was 000. It's not that great, but I feel like I've been using Afra a lot more lately. So why not give him a little something else, you know? So I don't know. That's a little bit of a drag to me, but and Bosk. The Bosk one's great too. But anyways, those old Together as One Datacrons. As we speak, we've just got like a week and they're gone.
Done. Yeah.
Forever.
Which is sometimes sad too, because like the return ratio on those when they get destroyed is just not pretty. So it's like, I do feel a little bit,
doesn't it?
But yeah. I have actually prepared more. So if you haven't prepared to get rid of some, like that way, when they do get rid of them, you're not going to max out the amount of money that you have in there and everything too. So the currency side of it, but yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about this Ezra Full Beard Bridger guy, shall we?
I mean,
oh boy,
I am so excited for this character. I mean, I absolutely love the Ahsoka series, and I am so excited for him. I don't know what it is. Like, I've always kind of wanted a better Ezra. Speaking of, before we talk about a better Ezra, the old school Ezra got am I going to call it a facelift or a face flat, or what am I going to call
face off?
Face off? I mean,
like I always thought in Face Off, like, you know, John Travolta is like kind of like, especially back in the 90s, like he was like classically good looking, strong jawline. And then there's Nick Cage. And like, if I were John Travolta and I woke up looking like Nick Cage, I swear to God, that's how Ezra should feel right now. He just looks.
There you go. Yes.
What?
I mean, that's all I'm going to think about is Nicolas Cage. But I mean, it's at least it's. I don't know. I mean, it's just different because I think we all see Ezra as what he was, right? So I mean, it's not like we've seen him really have that much of a difference. So I mean, I don't know. I mean. Hey,
I mean, to be fair, it's they tried to make it look like the actor from Ahsoka, and it does more, and that's fine. But there's like the uncanny valley going on. It's Tarkin in Rogue One. It's a little bit off, and it's not a huge deal. But like when I logged in and saw it, I was like, I'm sorry, who are you?
I know. I haven't met you before.
I get it.
I mean, but his outfit looks exactly the same, doesn't it?
How, no, it's updated. It's updated.
Is it
for
updated?
Sure. Yeah.
Maybe I need to go back and I guess it is.
It used to be quite rough. You look at some of those old, like if you pull up Kanan, look at Kanan and look at the texture and how basic everything looks.
Yeah.
And then you look at Ezra and you're like, okay, yeah, that looks like a completely different design thing. Yeah, we've talked before though about how like I liked the cartoonish style of the old Phoenix team. We just have to accept that's done. We're moving away from that. Hera's gonna get a rework. I don't know when, but they're not gonna let that slide. Look at that. There's no way they're letting that slide.
I know, she's rough
at all. And if they have to put Mary Elizabeth Winstead in my game, I will let them.
I know, right?
But yeah, it's, I don't know. It is what it is. They're all going to be doing this now, so It's funny that they started this whole process with Zeb.
I know, right?
Like, we got to get a realistic Zeb in there. I know he was in Mandalorian, but still, it just...
I know.
Okay. So anyways, yeah, let's talk about this Ezra. He's interesting. He's Spectre, which is basically what they're calling the new Phoenix 2.0, right? Because in Rebels, when they would do a ground mission, they would use Spectre. Kanan was Spectre 1, or Kanan and Hera were 1 and 2. I don't remember. But, right, so they're going with that just to differentiate them from Phoenix in-game. And I think that's smart because they really shouldn't be mixing the two. It would be such a nightmare with Hera's leadership, the way that plays off of everyone's uniques. Like, forget that. No. So this is part of Galactic Legend Ahsoka's squad, as will be the new Sabine, right? And we don't know what the full team will be. Hopefully a Hu Yang. I want that. And you know how they brought in Anthony Daniels for Chewie and 3PO?
Yeah.
If they brought in David Tennant for Hu Yang's character, oh boy. That's worth having the audio on for. I want him saying ridiculous things in my battle.
That's funny.
So, yeah, this is the Disney Plus Ezra, not the Disney XD Ezra. His basic is called Fugitive's Defense, and he's just kind of pushing everybody with his force cloud, I guess. Deal physical damage to target enemy and inflict speed down on them for 3 turns. If it scores a crit, Ezra, he's got crit synergy all over his kit. If it scores a crit, Ezra and another random ally gains foresight for 1 turn, and target enemy is staggered for 2 turns. So not just like getting a little benefit out of it, but staggering's pretty significant.
Yeah.
His first special
real quick,
is Kanan's Legacy.
Now, every single time you watch it, you gotta say Hadouken as he's doing this, though, because it is 100%, Hadouken.
Let me watch the animation again. Oh, man. Yeah, that's down to forward and punch.
There you go, right? You just know.
Kanan's Legacy, this is one of his Omicrons. Does he have... How many has he got? 3?
At least 2, right? Yeah,
3
most of them are 3.
Holy
1, 2.
Smokes, yeah.
Which is typical for Conquest.
Yeah. So, Kanan's Legacy is all allies recover 40% health and protection. Sure. Grant all Spectre allies and the target ally protection up 50%, stacking for 2 turns, and dispel all debuffs on them. This is a lot like Kanan, like the Phoenix Kanan. This is basically like his move. Target other ally attacks, and Ezra Bridger Exile assists, dealing 40% more damage, and both receive bonuses based on their tags. Jedi is tenacity up for 2 turns. Ufu is defense up for 2 turns. Spectre is backup plan for 2 turns, which can't be copied or dispelled, and riposte for 2 turns. Backup plan is the buff that Hera gives out. That basically gives that character a revive until it goes away for 2 turns. And then additionally, if the target ally is a Jedi, light side unaligned force user, or a Spectre, they gain a bonus turn. If the target ally is a Spectre, they also gain a bonus turn. Wait. Or a Spectre, they gain a bonus turn. Oh, I crossed my lines. If the target ally is a Spectre, they also gain 100% offense on their next turn, and will dispel all buffs from the target enemy and blind the target enemy for 2 turns, which can't be evaded on their next attack. Ezra gains 2 stacks of resilient defense for 2 turns, and 5 stacks of, per guild migration for the rest of the battle.
Love it.
We love the per guild migration. I'm pulling up Kanan because I want to compare that with his ability just a little bit here. It's so much more simple. Oh my god. Dispel all debuffs on Phoenix allies. Grant them defense up. Nope, it's not that one. It must be intervene. Yeah. His is simply deal physical damage to target enemy and taunt for 2 turns, then dispel all debuffs on another target ally. But no, it's not that. It must be total defense. I don't know my Phoenix that well, apparently. But it's got pieces from his kit, pieces from Hera's kit. I like that it's kind of suggesting that Ezra has not just learned that, but kind of developed his own pizzazz for it.
Right.
Let's see. So he just got 25 stacks of Purga Meditation. Amazing. Special 2 is Daring Advance. This is another... 5 stacks of Purga Migration. While in Grand Arena, he gets 25 stacks of Purgil Migration. And all Spectres get backup plan for 2 turns, which can't be copied or dispelled. So that's pretty spicy. Special 2 is Daring Advance. This is another Omicron. This is deal physical damage to target enemy 3 times and inflict healing immunity and offense down for 2 turns, which can't be resisted. For each crit scored, reduce target enemy's defense by 30%, stacking for 1 turn. This attack gains 10% crit chance for each Spectre ally. If Ezra scores 3 crits, the enemy's stunned for 1 turn, which can't be copied, dispelled, or resisted. Already pretty good, but while in Grand Arenas, for each crit scored, deal 20% damage based on the target's max health. Holy smokes. Can't be evaded. Inflict buff immunity, healing immunity, and offense down for 2 turns. None of that stuff can be prevented or copied or whatever. Reduce the cooldown of Daring Advance by 1. Normally the cooldown's 3. So that's... I like it. I don't know how mandatory it is, but it's kind of spicy. And then he has a unique. He has 2 uniques. First one is called Exile. This is another Omicron. At the start of the battle, all light side allies get Foresight for 2 turns. All Spectre allies get Tenacity up for 2 turns. And Ezra is exiled for the rest of the battle, which can't be copied, dispelled, or resisted. So at the start of his turn, he gains 2 stacks of Resilient Defense with a max of 4. First time each ally is exiled, they also gain 30% crit chance, 60% defense, and 100% max health and protection for the rest of the battle. First time each ally loses exile, they gain 30% crit chance, 60% crit damage, offense potency, and 30 speed. The first time he's exiled, enemies can't assist or attack again if their attack is targeting Ezra. When Ezra loses exile for the first time, he performs an ability, call a random ally to assist. Allied Spectres have instant defeat immunity while he is active.
Sorry, Cap.
Again, Commander Ahsoka Tano was amazing at defeating everything when she came out. And everything that has come out after is except screw Cat.
I know, right? It's funny.
All right, so what is Exile? Sorry, go on.
I was gonna say it's funny because we're getting a new Ahsoka, and we're kind of also saying to Ahsoka, we're gonna downgrade you just a tiny bit here, yeah.
So Exile is they can't attack, gain buffs, or gain other positive effects during another character's turn. Raid bosses and Galactic Legends instead can't gain buffs, and any characters who damage them gain crit damage up and health steal up for 1 turn. While in Grand Arenas, the first time a Spectre ally gains and loses Exile, they also gain 5% mastery per relic level. The first time a Spectre ally loses Exile, they gain an additional 30 speed. These bonuses persist through defeat.
So the interesting part with this is that he only gives it to himself. So if you read back through the kit, it's only him giving it to himself. So there must be a mechanic with her, with the new Ahsoka, that must be able to kind of move that. Now
that would make sense,
right? And then it says their raid bosses in Galactic Legends, can't gain a buff. it's pretty interesting too. So if you're able to kind of move that around, even to, I mean, I guess we'll kind of see how that new mechanic works, because I mean, it's just different. How do you exile somebody, you know?
Yeah. I totally agree. I think it's going to be baked into Ahsoka's kit. I think, which would make sense because she's the one that went to go get him, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like his kit tells a story. Whoa.
Oh,
The interesting thing, though, about those bonuses persisting through defeat is nice because he can give everyone in Grand Arena backup plan. I mean, even outside of Grand Arena, he can give backup plan, but in Grand Arena, he can give the whole darn team backup plan. So you finally kill someone and they come back and they're just as nasty as they were when you took them out.
I know, right? I mean, that's pretty cool when you think about it. It's like you work to get them where they're kind of getting better and better, and then all of a sudden the whole team could come back. You know, it was annoying when we had the Datacron that Rey came back, right? So that's just one Rey.
Man, yeah.
I mean, because what if Ahsoka?
I mean, you look
right?
at how annoying Reva is, that you got to take her out. She comes back. Take her. Sometimes you got to kill her 4 times, and I don't even know why. No
I'm
idea.
with you sometimes. I had that twice in Grand Arena.
It's the defeated dark side tank. They res themselves.
Oh yes, yeah. It's all I know is it's painful. But I mean, if you have a Galactic Legend that has this, and it's basically the same thing as Rey, just it's your whole team. And you know there has to be a tank in this that's going to be a beast. I mean, even though this is the second support character that has had mechanics to make it to where you attack the support character, because Master Qui-Gon does the same thing. Like, he is forced to have that taunt. So now in this case, is he going to be similar to that? Is he going to be beefy, or is he going to be like, you know, Seventh Sister that, you know, strong wind can get her knocked out sometimes?
Right. Yeah. We shall see. I don't think he'll be that beefy because he's like already, I don't know. We'll see.
Well, it's the Purgle migration is plus 1% defense. So if you get max at 50, I mean, that's 50% defense.
That's not bad. Not bad. So he does have this one last unique also. The Force is my ally. This is, he gets plus 20% crit chance, and whenever he's inflicted with a debuff, he recovers 25% health. Ugh. Light side allies can't have their cooldowns manipulated by enemies.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a good
When
kit.
Ezra uses an ability, he gains 5 stacks of Purgale Migration. Max 50 for the rest of battle. When he deals damage to an enemy, he gains 2 stacks. If this attack is a crit, he instead gains 5 stacks. When Ezra reaches 50 stacks of Purgale Migration, he gains a bonus turn, recovers 100% max health and protection. The next enemy he damages with an ability will be exiled for the rest of battle. Again, telling the story. It's so interesting. Is it going to be fun? I don't know, but it's fascinating. It tells the story of Star Wars Rebels, man. That's so cool. So you're going to exile him for the rest of battle. Can't be copied, dispelled, evaded, etc. And all enemies are inflicted with ability block for 1 turn. Can't be copied, dispelled, evaded, etc. And Ezra loses exile. Man.
Yeah.
It's just... you know, I complain about how kits are too darn complicated. I shake my fist and yell at the cloud. The kits are too complicated. And I still completely believe that. But it's sometimes one comes out and I read it and I think, man, this is like art.
Yeah.
You know?
I get you.
It's like watching a Christopher Nolan movie. You're like, I don't know if I liked that, but God, I loved that.
Yeah. I can see that. I mean, but it feels like there was a lot of love put into this character. I mean, a lot of beard too, but I mean, just a lot of love.
Yeah.
And the kit really feels like, you know, you can just tell. And going back to the, you know, kind of them talking about the the designer notes on there at the top of it. It really feels like these Ahsoka, I mean, if they really have, and it feels like they really are excited about Ahsoka too, I'm just hoping this is just the start. And it's going to be a really fun, I mean, of course, if it's an attacker GL too, our first attacker in a while, we might be getting the next wave of power coming in. So
I know. Absolutely. This is a turning point. Another turning point. They say while his forever home will be with GL Ahsoka, he still performs well on other teams like Starkiller and Jedi squads. I thought Jedi instantly. I hadn't thought of Starkiller. Oh my god!
There's some UFU that's baked into this kit. I mean, and it's kind of nice. I mean, even though because I wonder with is Ahsoka going to be an UFU as well? If she's, we know she's going to be Spectre.
Yeah.
But, what if she's UFU?
Yeah. Canonically, she should be.
Yeah.
So, we'll see.
So, I don't know. Yeah. No, it's pretty exciting.
All right.
Yeah.
So, release date is the 28th of August, according to Capital Games. We'll get him into 3 months.
Yeah, which they did say though
before.
You will get this before Ahsoka, and so this is going to come out before Ahsoka comes out. Now that does mean there's a little bit of time. Looks like you're going for her right now. The trooper did just become farmable as well, so at least know that you'll have the lifter before the GL comes out. So in most cases.
Yeah, we shall see. Okay, so let's move on here. There's one more little bit here. Yeah. Data mine conquest feats. What do we know about those?
Well, I think we have the idea of what that looks like on Monday. Obviously, we're going to have this coming out. Now, it's always nice with all of those hard workers that can go in and look at the data of these games and figure that out. And I'm just super impressed. Every single time I'm like, you guys are smart, right? This time though, it's not one of them where I'm like, oh, man, I'm really glad I know this information because it looks like this is going to be a challenge. So maybe I'm getting an extra day or so of being prepared. But some of these feats we probably don't have time to go through everything, but some of the ones that are going to be pretty tough, you have to have a certain amount of kills with Morgan Elsbeth, and you have to have a certain amount of battles where she survives. So that's kind of a challenge, obviously. Geonosians for the first time, and I remember that we had any, you have to have a certain amount of battles with Geonosians.
I will say you have to have Morgan Elsbeth, at least she's a Night Sister, so you could cheese it and just have Daka res her at the end of the battle.
True, but if you have to do you have to do 35 kills with her, though. That's the challenge.
Well, that stinks.
I know. That's what I said, too. Now, if you think that's bad, then Night Sister Acolyte actually has some feats as well, and that's not fun. Yeah. Death Trooper Pritia, that he also has, I think, 35 kills for them. Luthen, we knew that was going to happen. Again, you could probably still do all right without doing that one. Now you got
I bet
Blight.
That won't be that hard if you got him.
If you got him,
put them on Mothma team. They're just monsters.
And if you got them, if you don't got them, then guess what?
Yeah,
you're right. But Alert and Blight, we know those are newer ones, so that's going to be in there. Night Sisters, like I said, that's going to be there too. It's staggering how many stagger we have to do at 100 as well, and that's a main feat.
Yeah,
so it's going to be pretty tough. When I went back and kind of looked at, the Omicron for, Kenobi, it's not going to totally help, but it's still going to help a little bit. That's kind of the depressing thing in some ways. It's still going to be good. There's still so many things that they're going to be good there for, but it's not going to be as easy. I think this time around, my guess is they probably have a good idea that people are really going to want this character. And I think there's going to be a little bit of work going into it. Any of these that you see that you are ready to throw the computer on or saying it just can't happen?
Yeah, I mean, it's all the new characters. You got Death Trooper Peridia, you got Blight, you got all this Night Sister stuff. It's not like, hey, there's a new character, use it. It's, hey, use all of these new characters. And, fortunately, I have taken them all up to to Gear 11. So, like, they're as strong as I can get them. And I'm grinded. I'm going to be working on Night Trooper. But I don't have all the Zetas, and I don't know what I'm doing, and I'm scared.
Yes, there you go. Well, this isn't the character that I want to wait. Like I know by the third one it's going to get better, but I think that's the challenge. I mean, when Queen Amidala came out, it was actually relatively pretty easy. I think a lot of people thought Luthen was relatively pretty easy. So I mean, we have been fortunate that the last couple, but for myself and the fact that we're going to start to push towards, I don't want to wait.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, I'm not going to have Ahsoka right off the bat when she comes out, but I don't want to wait too long. And heaven forbid, I never wanted to go into Proving Grounds.
I think if you like, this character looks great, right? But he's going to belong on an Ahsoka team, and if you're not going to get Ahsoka right away, okay. Like maybe I gotta take a look at this and say, is this worth me stressing out over? If I'm like, Luthen was great. You just throw him on a Saw team or throw him on a Mon Mothma team. I love that. This is going to be a character that will be used with an upcoming Galactic Legend. Would he be good on a Starkiller team? Probably. Is he going to make that Starkiller team beat something it wouldn't normally beat? I don't know.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Maybe.
I think about that. That's
kick
pricey.
My feet up this Conquest. It is. It is.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think though. I mean, we know this is the trend. I think the more we've seen it, like we've seen it with, our weekly, challenges, having the new shiny thing is going to make the most sense. And
yeah.
That's the hard part, but I do think this one's going to be one that it's going to be. We need to find some cheese, and we need to find it as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
But
well, I think we've covered what needed covered. Man, somehow we did it. We didn't.
Yeah.
We didn't do all the fluff we normally do. The show's usually about 40% fluff. We only gave you about 20% this week, so. I'm patting myself on the back right
there you go, right?
But we can't just end it and go to bed and call that a night. We have an obligation. We swore an oath. And we got to tell these people, who you grinded?
Man, it's been a couple days, right? So, I mean, it's been one of those things where
I'm going to get my popcorn. I want to see where this goes.
I know, right? Well, I know I've been really, for a while, I was talking about Vader and all that fun stuff, and I really wanted Lord Vader, and I kind of had to shift, and a couple people asked me kind of why, and this Conquest is a prime example of it. When you look at, I would typically wait to put some of those characters even into any. It would be Gear 1, so, it seems like right now it makes total sense to go all into the future than stay in the back, and
yeah.
So I kind of made a switch, but the best part is Jar Jar's still going well. That's going to continue on, and I'm actually half of the way there, so which is wonderful. Boss Nass, he was Gear 9. He's now at Relic 5, so he's done. Captain Tarples was almost Gear 13, now is Relic 5, so he is done. So I got 2 left. Boomadir and Phalanx have been a pain in the butt when it comes to drop rate, so I went from 82 out of 85 to a fast forward 72 out of 100. Now, again, that's 2 weeks worth of work there.
Whiplash.
So, I know, right? And Phalanx, 5 out of 100 up to a whopping 70 out of 100. Both of them, Phalanx is basically ready to go to Gear 12, and the Boomadir's a jerk and watch so much, Cairo, it's crazy. But he's at Gear 10, And then guess what? I just need some Cairo.
Yeah.
So with that, I decided to go say, okay, no more Lord Vader. I'm going to go for Ahsoka, right? I'm just going to do it. It's going to be expensive in the sense of like resources. So the first thing I said, I've always wanted my cat a little bit better. Now I'm not talking about my actual cat, even though she's kind of a jerk sometimes too.
I wouldn't mind my cat being a little bit better. Yeah.
I know, right? I mean, there's just always something. So my cat, I went from Relic 5 and got her done at Relic 9. So that felt absolutely wonderful. Now, really, I just am basically going to start working on the new characters that are coming in the game right now. So Death Trooper, he got a whopping, actually it's Night Trooper is the one. I got a whopping 3 today. So he actually went from Gear 1 to Gear 8, great. Enoch, working on him. So he went all the way up to Gear 9, and then Death Trooper up to Gear 10. They are Cairo happy, which is perfect because then I can use that for Shard Shop. And then I'm also going to work on Balin when he comes out. So Morgan Elsbeth, I got her up to Gear 8. I want to get them all up to Gear 11, basically 12. So that way it's a little bit easier in Conquest. And that's going to give me a little bit of time. So then also with Night Sisters, it seems like they're starting to get to be more and more important. And my Marin was only Gear 12. So I'm going to work on her getting into the relics. And so, yeah. So I was looking at, now I have Lord Vader in the rear mirror, but at some point, don't worry, pal. At some point, I'm going to have it. And it's probably going to be Lightspeed bundles at some point, but still.
He'll be there when you're ready for him.
I know, right? Or he's always going to be sitting there. He'll be there. He's going to be the only one. I'm going to unlock everything. Everything's going to be in relics by the time this game's done. And Lord Vader's going to be like, what about me? So
yeah, he'll be, in the basement listening to emo, waiting to be unlocked.
Yes. Oh, man. So now I've actually been at an advantage because I've got to listen to a little bit about your path, but I want to know, since I've gotten to listen the last 2 weeks, I want to know who you grinding.
Yeah. Been doing some things. So I got, I kind of lose track of what I recorded and what I had not recorded for who I'm grinding. So if you already knew that I took Thrawn from Relic 6 to 7, this is your reminder. I have a Relic 7 Thrawn. So deal with that. Night Trooper, I also took from 28 or from 20 out of 30 up to 28 out of 30 since he became farmable today. That's my Ahsoka journey. That's all that I can work on is Night Trooper at the moment. So I also gave Night Trooper his second Zeta, so that's kind of neat. I'm trying to get that all these new characters, they want the Zetas, they want the Omicrons. I don't know, man. They can't all get it. As far as the Amidala team, so Amidala is still at Relic 5, and I don't know when that changes. Maybe soon. I don't know. Because Padawan Obi-Wan I took from Relic 6 up to 7. Master Qui-Gon I took from Relic 5 up to 6. So obviously I got to get Qui-Gon up to 7. That just makes sense. Like, not only is he good, but like that's another tier of Duel of the Fates, right? And then I think like the focus is probably going to be get Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon up to Relic 9. Because I'm hoping, I'm really, really hoping we don't need any more Relic 9s for
let's hope
Galactic
not.
Legend Ahsoka. So I'm going to try and do those. And then once they're up there, it's just every improvement I can make to Queen Amidala just means more raid stuff,
Yeah.
So we'll see. I had a really good raid this week. We pushed for max, like how much can we possibly get, and we didn't quite get the box that we wanted, but not all I won't get into it, but many of us made improvements. And I got a max score with Gungans, which isn't hard for me. I've got the Omicron. They do it pretty easily.
Yeah.
Got a max score with Amidala, max score with one of the Luminara team, max score with Keller and Beck, and then close to a max score with Maul, Sidious, and Newt. So, like, a heck of a raid. And I mean, I don't have them all at top tier. So this was like 6 million. Yeah. A little over 6 million, I think, is what I got. But hey, I'm happy with that. I'm moving. Doing good things. Speaking of Gungans with Omicrons, I gave Jar Jar his, like, let's make him a little more annoying, right?
I know, right?
Might as well. And then miscellaneous things. Sabine went from Relic 4 to 5, so she can use her Datacron. Barris went from Relic 3 to 5, so she can use her Datacron. Ooh, it's a spicy one. That's really nice. Stormtrooper Han's in my favorites, but I might as well take him out. I'm not going to do it. He's Relic 3. I was going to take him to 5 for his Cron, but, like, realistically, unless I see a comp that I think I'm going to run, I don't think I'm doing anything. So Omicrons, man, I've been thinking about this. I'm getting, I'm at like 15 out of 20, something like that. So starting to really get itchy. What am I going to do? And so I'm considering Padawan Obi-Wan, but if this Conquest doesn't look like it's going to do that much, I don't know. I'll sit down and I'll consider it. But I'm also thinking Amidala. Man, Queen Amidala, the loyal bodyguard, that's really nice. Tempting. And then I'm going to look at territory battle ones too, because I'm trying to, after talking with a couple folks in my guild, like, Grand Arena is what it is. You're going to win some, you're going to lose some, right? And the Omicrons are helpful, but you're still going to win some and lose some. Whereas, like, investing in PvE stuff seems to me, at my current mental state, like, there's so much going on in this game that, like, I would love to be able to reduce. Like, if I can do a territory battle one and now I can auto one more battle. Yeah. Hey, man, I'm good with that. I'm really good with that. So, I don't know. I'm going to look into it. I really don't know. I'm inclined to still, that being said, I'm inclined to still do maybe a couple more GAC ones because there's a couple teams that I feel like are just going to benefit so much from me doing that, like Queen Amidala. Yeah. I think that's going to be big. I'm curious to see the impact that Luthen has. I'm going to try him out this round and see what I can make happen. I was running Leia on defense, even though she just crumbles. But I pulled her from that. She had Mon Mothma on her team, so I've pulled her, so I have Mon Mothma available to attack, and I can try Luthen out. But yeah, that's it. That's all we got for you this week. It may not be the best advice, but at least we didn't recommend you take your Stormtrooper on anywhere, really. If you want to continue the conversation, join our Discord server. It's linked in the show description. You can become a real live Jawa by supporting us on Patreon, and share your thoughts by leaving us a podcast review. Big thanks go out to Pawurapa and SWGOH.GG and SWGOHevents.com for providing all the hard data we misinterpret weekly. Thanks for tuning in, and may the Force and RNG be with you.